A wonder of the ancient world, a marvel of engineering, a biblical transport? Could the Bible's favorite flood hero also have a place in Egypt's history? One man thinks so. Plenty of armchair historians and casual conspiracy theorists have devised intricate theories about the ancient world. While history is certainly full of crazy true stories, there are also those more outlandish claims which, however entertaining they may be, are likely untrue. Ancient Egypt gets a lot of attention, perhaps in part because it's hard to fathom how such a great civilization could have grown without the help of modern technology. At the heart of these stories are the great Egyptian pyramids, the massive architectural feats that to this day remain intimidating. Constructing such precise, imposing structures would be a difficult undertaking even today, let alone in a time without modern tools, so it's understandable that the pyramids tend to attract quite a few conspiracy theories of their own. When people talk about the famous Egyptian pyramids, they're likely referring to the 3 pyramids at Giza. They were constructed between around 2550 BC and 2490 BC, some 4,500 years ago, in honor of 3 ancient Egyptian pharaohs, Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaura. Theories about how the pyramids were really built abound, and some can be pretty out there. You know the ones.
Something extraordinary happened right here, perhaps under the tutelage of extraterrestrials.
But there's another wild theory about the pyramids that starts a little closer to home. Most of us are probably familiar with the biblical story of Noah's Ark. In the book of Genesis, God flooded the world to punish humanity for their wickedness, except for one righteous man, Noah. Instead, he was told to build an ark, onto which he would bring his family and 2 of each type of animal to survive the flood.
Building an ark the old-fashioned way.
Most of us, however, probably don't see a connection between this story and the ancient pyramids of Egypt. But most of us are not Matthew Simpson, who has made the very bold claim that the Egyptian pyramids and Noah's Ark may actually be one and the same.
Yeah, right.
Simpson, who talks about his discoveries on his YouTube channel Ancient Architects, devised this theory after a new scan of the Dead Sea Scrolls revealed what he considered to be a bombshell discovery. The Leon Levy Dead Sea Scrolls Digital Library Project undertook a massive digitization project, scanning tens of thousands of fragments of the scrolls with a camera capable of taking pictures at a resolution 28 times higher than a traditional scan. As a result of these new higher resolution images, text on some fragments that had been previously illegible could now be read. And in these newly legible texts, Simpson believes he found a secret that reveals Noah's Ark might have really been a pyramid, or at least a metaphorical version of it. He explained, "Before then, regarding the story of Noah's Ark, scholars have been unable to read a particular word following the Hebrew phrase, the ark's tallness, but the new scans revealed the word nizaphat. The translation of this word from Hebrew to English means gathered, which means that the ark's ribs were gathered at the top to form a shape of a pyramid." Simpson added that the ark is described as pyramid-shaped in a 3rd century BC Greek translation of the Old Testament, which uses a similar gathered verb. While the Christian belief of the Bible flood is that water literally covered the earth, Simpson believes that the story of Noah's Ark might really be referring to a major flood that occurred in the Middle East. He also says that it's possible that the text in the Dead Sea Scrolls may not be referring to a literal pyramid-shaped ark. Instead, the newly discovered translations could be a metaphor for the story of how Egyptians survived the flood. He explained, "Some scholars say that the Great Pyramid of Egypt was built to reflect the primeval mounds that, according to ancient Egyptian tradition, emerged from the expanse of primordial waters. The story is not thought to be literal, but maybe the Egyptian elites built their own primeval mount to escape an impending flood."
You can't just dismiss all of this as pure coincidence.
It's an interesting theory, but not one that most other historians and Egyptologists subscribe to. The pyramids were likely constructed by using sophisticated planning, lots of manpower, and a complex ramp system. According to the Smithsonian, ancient Egyptians would use copper tools to quarry stone, most on the Giza Plateau. The huge stone blocks would then be placed onto sledges, which were then pulled up the pyramids via a steep ramp system. Yanis Gordon, co-director of a joint archaeological mission at Hatnub, an alabaster quarry site in the eastern desert, explained to Live Science, "This system is composed of a central ramp flanked by 2 staircases with numerous post holes. Using a sled, which carried a stone block and was attached with ropes to these wooden posts, ancient Egyptians were able to pull up the alabaster blocks out of the quarry on very steep slopes of 20% or more." Of course, historical discoveries are always being made, so there's a chance a new finding will shine more light on how these massive wonders were constructed. But this explanation probably makes more sense than theories claiming Noah's Ark was really a pyramid.